welcome to our live demo session. My name is Ryan Mullen. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Cleo. I'm joined by my colleague, Aaron Koch, who is a member of our Solutions Architect team. He's going to be the brains behind the operation today, and he's going to be the one walking through our platform here very, very shortly. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, especially this late in the holiday season, to attend live. We've done a lot of these live demonstrations over the course of 2025. We've shown off no-code onboarding, intelligent issue resolution, some features, capabilities. We've also done verticalized ones. We did a couple that were focused on logistics and transportation use cases. And today's focus is going to be about the manufacturing industry, and we're going to highlight some specific use cases, and then, again, the visibility, the issue resolution, and the other goodness within our platform that comes along with it. We will be releasing our schedule. We're going to be continuing to do these in 2026, so stay tuned. We haven't published the schedule yet and all the different topics, but there will be some of the same stuff, and then some new demos that we'll be showing off next year that really parlay right into the innovation that Cleo's known for. A couple areas of housekeeping. We want engagement on this session, so. Yep, thank you. Great timing there, Aaron. You can see, as we've outlined here, the Q&A box is at the bottom of your screen. As questions come to mind, please drop them in that box. We're going to save time at the end. We're going to circle back, and we're going to answer them all. If for whatever reason we get too many questions and we can't cover it within the allotted time, a Clio representative will reach out to you directly with an answer. And then lastly, the number one question I always get, will I receive this recording? You absolutely will. After we package the recording up, we'll be sending it out via email that will hit your inbox early next week. It always comes from Cleo's customer marketing manager, Jill Barlow, so keep an eye out for a note from Jill early next week, I think Monday or Tuesday. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Aaron. Please take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan. I really appreciate it. My name's Aaron Koch, Solutions Architect here at Cleo. I've been here for about a year, and previously spent quite a bit of time in the digital transformation, commerce, and supply chain space. So really excited to have the opportunity to run you guys through the platform today and introduce CIC and Cockpit to you. At a really high level, before I dive in, just kind of where we're coming from and the way we think about things, really believe in these three core pillars, right? To help accelerate your business, give you control over your business, and be able to generate trust throughout your entire ecosystem, trust with your partners, trust with your platform. We do that and really execute on that in some key areas, right? So thinking about accelerated integration, we have pre-built integrations to many, many different platforms and network-ready documents, as well as the ability to connect to different marketplace platforms, pre-built integrations to partners, really just things so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you're connecting to something. You really can start with something that is pre-built and have an accelerator there. So thinking about control and operational flexibility, I think the biggest differentiator there really is our ability to offer either fully managed service, full self-service, or a hybrid of the two, so that you really can use us for as much or as little as you want to. It's a big differentiator for us. And then, of course, glass box visibility and alerts across the entire platform. When we're thinking about supply chain solutions, right, we are a supply chain orchestration platform. So while we'll be focusing on the order to cash process today from the manufacturing perspective, please keep in mind that not only is order to cash a priority for us, but also procurement automation, as well as the full logistics process. So whether you're coming in just to start with order to cash, or you're looking to automate and orchestrate your entire supply chain process, we are here for that. And last but not least, really, once you've got everything working, it's a question of managing the relationships within your business ecosystem. And we offer ecosystem relationship management tooling with business insights and analytics, and the ability to really keep a close eye on all of those super important SLAs as you build trust and build effective and efficient processes with your partners. All right, moving on. Before we jump in, the last thing I want to do before we jump into the actual interface to the product itself is just kind of give you a high level of kind of what this looks like from an architecture perspective. We're going to start on the right side. That's your business ecosystem. So that's all the platforms, all the external systems that you connect to, whether it's vans, your e-commerce platforms and marketplaces, as well as your trading partners, whether you're connecting over a van or direct connections to those trading partners, suppliers, carriers, 3PL, all of that. So that all sits on the right-hand side. And what's most important is, although not every single file type and protocol is listed, we are an any-to-any transformation platform. So whether it's EDI, JSON, XML, and a host of other file types coming over AS2, SFTP, or a whole list of other protocols, we essentially aim to allow you to say yes to your partners, regardless of how they transact, and give you the flexibility to transact with any partner. Um, on the left-hand side, now that's your business ecosystem, right? So we're looking at your ERP, your CRM, your WMS, TMS, all of your internal systems, as well as any cloud storage, or even on-prem systems, databases and file systems. We have the ability to connect to your ERP, if it's a cloud environment, or to your on-prem systems directly through database and files, as well as your cloud storage, giving you that end-to-end transformation, any-to-any transformation as well. Now, in the center, that's where all sort of the magic happens, and really four key components. Number one is the cockpit, and that is your visibility platform. That's what we're going to explore today, and we'll talk about the dashboards and the persona-based insights, all of that transactional monitoring, glass box visibility as well. And when we think about the platform itself, really three key components, right? There's the studio, and that is our sort of design time, low code environment where we build out those business processes. There's the transformation engine itself, where all of the orchestration automation happens. And then there's our network of pre-built integrations to all the partners on the right-hand side, really accelerating those connections. So that is what we'll be exploring today, is really the cockpit and that operational visibility. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the platform. Just give me 1 second to swap my screen share. And let's get into the platform. All right, so welcome to the cockpit. What I would ask is, just for a moment, if everyone can suspend disbelief, if you will, and imagine a world where everyone across your organization, from leadership, admin, finance, operations, customer service, sales, everyone across the organization can know what's happening, where it's happening, how it's happening, and why it matters. And that's what Cockpit was built to deliver. Now, this is the dashboard. Think about the dashboard as your command center for operational visibility across Cleo Integration Cloud. What we see here is we've got multiple processes. The direction of the arrow shows the direction of the process. This is really focusing on that manufacturing use case, purchase orders coming in, acknowledgments, ship notices, and invoices headed out. So we're looking at, we got inbound purchase orders, outbound ASNs, and outbound invoices. These are organized into process flows to show high-level summaries over specific timeframes. Now, if I wanted to add something to this, one of the beautiful things about this is that this dashboard is entirely customizable per user. So changes I make to my dashboard will not affect other folks, and everybody can see exactly what they need to see given what their role is and what they're focused on. So if I wanted to add, let's say I wanted to start tracking functional acknowledgments on my dashboard, and I wanted to see them every time I came in, I click that pencil, add chart, I choose functional acknowledgments and add it. And that's going to add that to my dashboard. So every time I come in here, I'll have that. I'll have those functional acknowledgments available. And then down the road, maybe that no longer serves a purpose. Well, I want to get rid of any unnecessary noise. Only see the things that I want to see, so I can remove it just as easily. And the idea really is just to make sure that you have total control over how you see things. Also, we believe that control should never come at the cost of, or clarity should never come at the cost of control. And so admins have total control over who sees what. For instance, if a customer service rep only services certain accounts, you can limit their visibility to just those accounts. So you have total control over who sees what. Now, if I wanted to track a specific order, find a particular order, I can come in here to the orders. One of the things that makes Cockpit so usable is that it follows the way work actually flows with a top-down approach. So I come into my purchase orders, and now I'm looking at all of the purchase orders. So a couple things about what we're looking at here. Number one, I can manage or adjust the time frame. Let's say I just want to be looking at orders from this week. I can look at today. We've got some presets, right? I can look at today, yesterday, a couple different time frames, or even my own custom time frame. And we also have two different views here. I've got this tile view, which exposes all of the relevant EDI indications here, but without requiring me to know EDI inside out and backwards, right? It's all human readable, but I can see it's an 850. We've got color-coded indicators. We can see the acknowledgement status. And then this space here is entirely customizable. So you can surface any data from the payload within this space here. And then we also have a grid view. So we find that a lot of the more technical folks prefer a grid view. And this, once again, also entirely customizable. I can run this out 20 columns horizontally. And I can toggle on and off any of the columns or data types that are available within my platform. So very easy to manage this, to drag and drop them, arrange it so you can see exactly what you need to see, where you need to see it, and how you need to see it. We're going to stick with the tile view for now. I feel like it gives us a fast, clear pulse of everything in motion across the platform. Now, over here on the left-hand side are our filters. And I think of this less as a search tool and more as a discovery tool, because it's really about surfacing important insights. So because you can filter by inbound or outbound, by a particular partner. Let's say I wanted to just see orders from Amazon. I can narrow just down to Amazon. We can look up a particular issue type or status, or filter by a particular issue type or status, SLA status, acknowledgement status, and then any one of these individual message ID types. So I can narrow down to a particular type of message as well. And furthermore, I can actually filter by data contained within the actual payload itself. And I can manage which of these I expose just by turning them on and off here. So any data running through our platform becomes indexable and is also filterable. So once again, if it's quantity, price, part numbers, whatever it is, product IDs, I can also filter by payload data through this as well. Now, when you find a set of filters that is really useful and exposes some new insight, you can save that filter for later use. And these saved filters can then be automated into scheduled reports. So taking a look over here at scheduled reports, I would take one for an example here, like our SLA at risk. What happens is we give it a name and a description, and then you select the saved filter that you want to use. You can change the schedule. So if I want this to be down to the minute or hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, I've got a ton of flexibility around how often we see this report come out. And this is also the ability to limit what data is included, perhaps all data since the last report, maybe a specific time frame. My favorite is send data only if data matching the report is saved, so we're not sending empty reports. And then we can add individual users here. So I can choose users to add who's receiving this report. You could also just put in a distro list and manage those users on your side through that distribution list. But this is a great way to make sure that the right people get the right information without ever even having to log in, because we don't expect you to spend your lives here in the cockpit, but we do want to make it highly usable. Now, coming back here to the messages tab, if I want to dig into one of these purchase orders, clicking into the purchase order reveals a detailed audit trail linking together every document and interaction across the entire transaction lifecycle. So whether it is the purchase order, the acknowledgement, the ASN, or the invoice, everything is connected, making it easy to track, trace, and troubleshoot when there are issues. Now, what we're seeing here is our document view. Once again, this whole area of the screen is entirely customizable and can surface any data from the payload itself. But we're using a little bit of Gen AI here, and we've got the overview version, and that essentially builds a printable, we call it the pretty print, but builds a printable PDFable. You can just download the PDF from this button here, but builds out a summary of the order with all the information, PO number, and all of that, as well as the ship to, bill to information, and the details of the order with the product IDs, descriptions, quantity, prices, etc. So this is makes it easy for in the case you need to print something off or share it in some other way. Now, from this document view, if I wanted to take a look at the original X12, I could come in here to view purchase orders, and now I can see the original X12 that came through with this purchase order. I can view our translated message after it went through the translation engine, or I can compare them side by side. So I've got the original X12 over here. I just click to switch them because I like to have the original on the left and the translation on the right. But we've got the original X12, we've got the translated message, great for comparing formats, doing reconciliation, things like that. If for some reason I needed to download this X12, I can do that very easily. Come over here to that and just click this download button. And that will allow me to download the original file. And if I made a change to the file and resubmitted it to the process, I can actually just click this reprocess button right here and reprocess that as well. Now, if I want further insights, I come down here to the message lifecycle. And we can see this originated in an SFTP mailbox, went through the transformation engine and out to the ERP. For deeper insights, I can actually click into the message lifecycle, and we can start to get into some of the details. So here, when we look at this leg from the SFTP mailbox into the transformation engine, I can see the original payload file right here. If I want to see the logs, I can see every connection, response, detail, and request that went across between these systems or platforms during this part of the journey, if you will. We can go into the transformation logs themselves, and we can get into some pretty deep detail on a very granular level of everything that happened during the transformation itself. So let's see, we want to go into the receive EDI portion, look at some of the syntax analyzer, the translation messages, so everything, each message that happened during the course of the translation. So as you can see, we can get into some very, very deep detail in every transaction. Now, this is a case where everything worked out. Everything's green, right? But we know that in EDI, things fail, problems happen. It's just kind of the nature of the beast, right? So the question is, when things go bump in the night, how quickly can you identify the issue, resolve the issue, and move on? And so it's all about rapid response and rapid resolution. I'm going to jump into another filter that I have saved here of errors or issues from a particular partner. And when an error occurs, or if an SLA is going to be missed, anything like that, you're going to get a proactive alert. And that alert will contain a link to the issue report. I can also view that issue report just by clicking into one of these tiles, but we can see very, very clearly everything is marked with color-coded indicators, so it's very easy to see what's happening, what worked out, and what didn't. So jumping into one of these issues, what we'll see here is that once again, we don't need to be EDI experts to start to get an idea for what happened. I can see that this was a mapping failure. We can see that the endpoint that failed was the transformation, so the issue happened at the transformation. We can see the message ID, the document type, the partner, and the error type. But where things start to really get clear is this error message, right? And in this particular case, what we found is the platform was expecting an integer, but it received the alphanumeric characters ZZ, causing the process to fail. Now, if this is a one-off issue and it's just a mistake, some sort of mistake that can just be corrected, if we needed to, once again, same thing as earlier, come into the summary tab. I can review the purchase order. I can download this file, make a change to the X12, resubmit it, reprocess. Off we go. But if the partner intends to continue sending that value, maybe ZZ is a new value they've added to their standard responses, then a change may be necessary. And that's something that can be easily done by our managed services team or your teams if you are doing some level of self-service, have complete access to do this as well. And the bottom line is that your teams have access to the same data and insights as our teams. We're not looking at anything different. You have access to the exact same things. And furthermore, this is fully integrated into our ticketing system. So there's no need to go into a separate system to manage tickets. Everything is contained within here, and you can communicate with our team in real time if necessary to resolve issues quickly and efficiently. So the last thing I'm going to show, I want to save a couple minutes for questions. But before we do, I want to show you guys one more thing. And that is one more little piece of Gen AI that we are leveraging to try to make your lives easier and better. I'm going to come into this mapping failure. We can see this is the Meyer 850 mapping failure. So what we could do is, number one, we could see how many jobs are impacted by this one particular issue. And if we're not clear what the issue is, we can jump into this summary and we will generate a high level summary of what happened, right? So it talks about that transformation process failing, why it failed, what the specific issue is. And then not only that, but we also provide a recommended action plan. So even if you're using our managed services and we're working on in the background, this is something you can jump into just to see, to get context, understand kind of what we're doing as well, above and beyond all of the communication that we would have with you. So a couple little areas where we are trying to thoughtfully use some Gen AI to make everyone's lives just a little bit better. And with that, Ryan, I am going to hand it back to you, and we can take some questions from the audience.
Excellent. You have a couple. So it looks like the first one here is, does Clio offer the ability to integrate into off-platform alerting or hook into ticketing systems such as Zendesk?
Yes, absolutely. And we have a couple different ways to do that. So there is the ability to essentially have a data feed coming out. If you have really, really specific requirements, we can also do a direct integration to whatever platform you're looking at. But we do have a method for pushing out a data feed to an external system without having to do a full integration to that system.
Okay, excellent. I think you kind of hit on this with the last point you made, but when a customer sends some invalid data, can you fix the data and then resend it to your system for processing? So, for example, wrong purchase order number on the 810 invoice file from a vendor.
Absolutely. So within our managed services, if you're leveraging our managed services, our managed services team will work on all of that resolution directly with your partners for you. The idea being that if there's not something that we need specifically that only you can provide, we will take care of that in the background and you'll never even have to touch it.
Excellent, awesome. Uh, Very general question here, so I'll let you take it whichever way you want. What ERPs does Clio integrate into?
Well, we do have a list of ERPs for which we have connectors and accelerators. So that's something that we can provide a link to on our side of where we keep that. But there's a whole list of ERP platforms and other platforms that we have connectors and accelerators for. And if we don't have a connector or a pre-built connector or accelerator, if you have an ERP that we haven't worked with before, still have the ability to integrate to just about any system, assuming there's someone on the other side who can help us understand how to map to that platform. So as long as we know what we're mapping to, we can connect to just about anything.
That's right, Open API, right? So, last one. Does Clio integrate or offer support for integrating with customer APIs, like airline APIs to collect data, book capacities, etc.?
Yes, so we do have a full API for Cleo Integration Cloud. And I believe documentation for our API is available as well. So I think that is, Ryan, is that publicly available, the
Yep.
API documentation? Yeah. So that is available as well. And we can certainly shoot that out if necessary. But yes, we have a full API and the ability to integrate to an external partner's API.
All right, you knocked them all out. Thank you, Aaron, and thank you to everybody in the crowd today for attending. Again, really appreciate it. Happy holidays, everyone. Hopefully, you're able to take some time off and enjoy. We're looking forward to seeing you again in 2026. Bye.
Happy holidays, everyone, and a happy new year.